Today, we have Slaking, the most relatable Pokemon since maybe Snorlax. Slaking has been known for being Norman's ace Pokemon, and like our dad, we decided to take this Pokemon as our partner to defeat all the foes we face in the Hoenn region. Let's see how he did. Slakoth, the baby form of Slaking, can be encountered as early as Petalburg Woods. This Pokemon, which has a base stat total of 280, which is about as much as Nidoran, also has the Truant ability, which prevents it from doing anything every other turn. This, in conjunction with its normal typing, makes it an awful Pokemon against Roxanne's rock types. Even support moves like Yawn and Encore offer it no chance of doing any significant damage to her mighty rocks. Best they can do is yawn and switch out for something that actually can contribute to a win. In Emerald, things are even worse with Roxanne having more Pokemon that Slakoth can do nothing to. After Roxanne, the Slakoth player will go on to challenge Brawly, the second gym leader, and around that point, Slakoth reaches level 18, which allows it to evolve to Vigoroth. Now, for a Pokemon that evolves this early, Vigoroth has great stats. It has a base stat total of 440, which is higher than quite a few fully evolved Pokemon including Marowak and Wigglytuff, and equal to the likes of Persian. However, its good stats do not allow it to shine as Brawly quickly disposes of it thanks to his type advantage. This is also true of the Emerald version of Brawly, where Vigoroth loses to any Pokemon Brawly has other than his meta type that can be beaten with any Pokemon anyway, as long as that Pokemon has damaging moves. After beating Brawly and getting TM Bulk Up, which Vigoroth learns, Vigoroth goes on to Mauville City, where the third gym fight awaits. Electric should be a type Vigoroth can decently deal with, as opposed to rocket fighting, but Watson sadly uses a team with a majority of steel types. Vigoroth cannot break through magnets even with Bulk Up and Slakoth thanks to them having status moves and special attacks, which avoid the defense boosts Vigoroth gets through Bulk Up. Vigoroth can at least beat the Voltorb Watson uses for whatever that may be worth. Things get a bit better in Emerald, with there being an Electrite Vigoroth can deal with as well, and though Manectric is no steel type, Scratch is too weak of a move for Vigoroth to have a good chance of doing much. Besides Scratch, we could have used Fury Swipe, which we elected not to learn because of how inaccurate and unreliable it is, and Rock Smash, which is nice for this fight, but a liability onwards as we cannot unlearn it and remain stuck with a base 20 fighting move, and it's not like Rock Smash sweeps this fight or anything. Now, you might be thinking that Vigoroth is being trash, and you would be kind of right, except that while you were pointing and laughing, Vigoroth was slowly gathering the pieces of the puzzle, the resources that would actually allow him to do great things. From its evolution, it acquired stats and lost its cumbersome ability. From Brawly, it got Bulk Up, and now it gets access to HMO4 Strength, which happens to be a very respectable normal type move. With this moveset, Vigoroth goes on to battle Flannery and her notoriously dangerous Torkoal. Here's how the Vigoroth vs Flannery matchup works. Flan leads with Slugma, which has Sunny Day and Overheat. Overheat, despite being a strong move, does not KO our Vigoroth from full, and that's even provided that it had a lax nature, which lowered its special defense. After the first Overheat, Slugma's special attack will fall sharply, which means Vigoroth can set up on it all day using Slack Off and Bulk Up as long as we do not get crit. Now, alternatively, Slugma can go for Sunny Day before it uses Overheat, which would allow the first Overheat to one-hit KO Vigoroth. There, we would need to have a teammate take the first Overheat and then go Vigoroth, which can then set up easily whether Sun is up or not. After we get to +6, we can easily sweep her entire team with Strength, including the Torkoal. In Emerald, the same thing can be done with the Numel, who has a slightly lower special attack stat than Slugma. Next up is Dad, who is deeply proud of our choice and ready to teach us one thing or two about using the Slaking line. However, his Slaking is the perfect setup fodder for our Bulk Up Slakoth Vigoroth, as Vigoroth's decent defense stat and Slaking's Truant let our friend have a great time setting it up to a +6, and even Yawn does not work as Vigoroth has the Vital Spirit ability, which prevents it from falling asleep. Vigoroth easily sweeps Norman. In Emerald, Vigoroth can achieve a similar feat provided it manages to set up against Spinda, which it will most probably do unless it gets cursed with a massively bad confusion and crit RNG. Otherwise, Dad will bow before us as the new heir of the Slaking tradition. Next up is Winona, which also leads with a Pokemon that Vigoroth can set up against her Swellow. Double team spam may seem annoying, but all you have to do is hit one strength after you're done setting up, and the defense boosts unsure you have enough time to do so, especially with Slakoth recovery. The actual annoying part is that Skarmory can lower Vigoroth accuracy with Sand Attack, which may allow Altaria to beat it with Dragon Breath, and maybe even do that after Dragon Dancing a few times. But with most RNG rolls, Vigoroth is fine to go rampant. Emerald Winona might seem easier due to her Swablu lead, but the Swablu has Perish Song, which prevents setup sweeps from going through. The best way is to set up against the Pelipper, which is very unthreatening. With the 6th gym done, Vigoroth reaches level 36, allowing it to finally evolve into Slaking. Slaking has a base stat total of a whopping 670, the same as Groudon and Kyogre. It is strong, fast, and bulky. However, it gets the Truant's ability back. A non-Truant Slaking would absolutely break the game apart and would not even be close, which is why this thing was balanced by being given the worst ability of all time. A consequence of this is that Slaking is not a strict upgrade of Vigoroth in the same way most evolutions work. We're not saying that Slaking or Vigoroth is better per se, but Slaking is definitely not better in every single situation, especially given how decent Vigoroth is. What this means is that if you have Vigoroth in a playthrough, especially in a challenge run like a Nuzlocke or something, it is wise to consider if and when to evolve Vigoroth into Slaking and which helps you better in your given position. This is especially true in Gen 5 plus games where Vigoroth can have Eviolite equipped, which makes it 1.5 times bulkier, an item that Slaking cannot hold. Now that being said, this video is about Slaking, so we're kind of forced to evolve it. Upon evolving, Slaking is ready to face Gym 7, Tate and Lisa, and much like Slaking and Vigoroth, Slaking will also face the pain of dealing with a gym using Pokemon that it cannot hit with normal type moves. Even worse, Truant's burden is even heavier and doubles, since each wasted turn allows the opponent to do more stuff with their Pokemon. Best Slaking can do is yawn and switch out, as this fight is usually won through speedy outright offense. In Emerald, Slaking can at least smash the Zatsu with strength before switching out, and maybe come back later to yawn something else, making it a bit more useful. And last but not least is Gym Leader Wallace, and as much as Love Disc is the juiciest setup opportunity of all time, Slaking will not sweep the leader, or his Emerald counterpart, Juan. Thanks to Truant, each Pokemon on Wallace's or Juan's team will be able to get one Water Pulse off, which will overwhelm Slaking after it gets a few kills. This is definitely one of the situations where Vigoroth would have fared better, as it's still fast enough to outspeed everything and does not have to worry about Truant. With all the gym leaders done, it's time for our procrastinating friends to face the toughest challenge so far, the Elite Four. Now, it's safe to say that once again, Slaking's raw power is significantly greater than anything around it. However, even against Sydney, it cannot manage to sweep the fight as damage, especially passive damage like Leech Seed and stat-lowering moves like Scary Face will overwhelm it over time despite it being able to one-hit KO every single Pokemon outright. However, Slaking can still do massive damage if it switches in and out intelligently. Slaking can get any number of kills you want it to, provided you have the right teammates and are good enough at the video game, though getting 3 should not be hard, and getting even more is also easy if you sacrifice Pokemon for tempo. On Phoebe, Slaking will also be bothered not only because it cannot hit Ghost with its normal moves, but also because it can be hit by Curse, Will-O-Wisp, and special moves Ice Beam. This prevents Slaking from setting up altogether and relegate it to a role similar to the previous fight, but worse due to the incapacity of using its stab. However, Slaking can still get 2 kills or even more quite easily thanks to Phoebe's Pokemon being generally not the best. Against Glacier and Drake, the best way for Slaking to go will be more than ever determined by the team it's on and what its partners need. Slaking can beat anything 1v1, and may even beat several things if you switched around. Slaking got his 2 kills on each of the 2 fights easily, but in your own playthrough, how you use Slaking will depend on what you need, as you might prioritize getting one specific kill than losing your Slaking if you think that helps you winning. And finally, we have to fight champion Steven. Steven leads with Skarmory, which presents us with an interesting question. Can bulk up Slakoth Slaking set up on this Pokemon who is defensively formidable but does absolutely no damage back? Unfortunately, it cannot, because Skarm has Toxic, which will easily drain Slaking out of all his HP, and even through Slakoth, but is there a move that is even more in line with Slaking's love for loafing around than Slakoth? Enter TM44, Rest. Rest not only heals all her HP back, but also cures poison, which allows Slaking to go for most drawn out bulk setup ever performed by a Pokemon, resting off poison, sleeping, loafing around, and bulking up all the way to +6. Then slowly but surely, Strength allows us to plow through the defensively insane Skarm, which is further boosted by the random defense boost from Steel Wing. Once Skarm eventually falls off, Slaking can one-hit KO everything else with either Strength or Earthquake. This sweep is highly RNG dependent thanks to crit chance, Thunder Paralysis chance from Aggron, which definitely did not happen to us, and so on. However, with a bit of luck, the normal type, encountered before Gym 1, with the worst ability of all time, somehow sweeps a champion, which we thought was pretty funny. Subscribe if you think Slaking sweeps is pretty funny. Unfortunately, there is no funny Slaking sweep on the Emerald Wallace champion fight, though you once again can get a few kills for your time like on Glacier Drake. Overall, Slaking is very strong into this Elite 4 and is definitely better than using Vigoroth, who does not have setup opportunities thanks to its low stats, outside of maybe Steven, and lacks the immediate firepower Slaking uses to break the foes apart. To sum it up, we think this line of Pokemon is actually pretty fun to use from the moment it evolves to Vigoroth. Though the first 3 gyms are a bit iffy, Vigoroth manages to solo the next 3 gyms by itself. Slaking then is destroyed by Tate and Lisa, but is great into every subsequent fight, though never getting full sweeps, that is, until the champion. Who knows, maybe it was conserving its full power to do the most against the singular toughest opponent. That's our video. Check out the best team in Hoenn and how this pseudo dragon has the greatest come up.